So you want Valentine's Day to maybe be a bit more serious and meaningful besides just the commercialization and, getting uh, corporations to buy you candy or buy candy for people you love or teddy bears or flowers. I mean, I like buying flowers, right? It's definitely not a day for most people in with anyone I'm familiar with, but definitely I think in Western society, probably global society in a large part, where it's associated with the third century Roman saint, of which it is his feast day, obviously. So, where exactly does this idea come that it is a day of love? Particularly, it might be related to the idea of courtly love. And this actually comes from the Middle Ages. And in fact, it seems like it might come from one guy in particular, and that guy is one of my favorite authors. I think maybe a little underappreciated, and that's because he didn't speak modern English, even though Shakespeare, like someone like Shakespeare, did. Right, Shakespeare spoke an early version of modern English. Where you can pretty much understand him when you read him. Maybe not completely, 100% of the time, but for the most part, there is a mutual intelligibility there. Someone like speaking in the Middle Ages, or in the Middle Ages, just Middle Ages would have been spoken a different kind of English. If you go early Middle Ages, it would have been Old English. Go high late, it'd be Middle English, and that is what this is actually. Is none other than Geoffrey Chaucer, um, and it is his Parlement of Fools or Fowls, depending on how you want to say it. Parlement of Fools is how it would be in Middle English, or around there. It is a 700-line poem in rhyme royal, which is not. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about rhyme royal, but it is very popular at the time. Chaucer uses it all the time, and it is actually said that Chaucer is likely to be the myth maker, the original myth maker in this instance, as one scholar put it, in connection to Valentine's Day and romance. And it would be from this poem, actually, itself, the Parliament of Fools, or Fowls, right? It's literally birds, right? The Parliament of Birds. So not fools as in, foolish people. Um, and you'll see why it has a lot of birds, and it's only 700 lines, so it's pretty short. This version I have here is actually a side by side with the original Middle English and a modern English translation. This one is by Greg Camp. I just bought this randomly online several years ago. But the story itself, well, let's read this excerpt actually from the introduction. It is solidly in the Middle Ages. The social standing of the birds is determined by birth. The story uses characters like beauty and youth with capitalized B and Y there. Personifications of qualities or behaviors in the poem is a dream. Oh, it is a dream of the narrator exploring a garden. It's also the sort of curiosity cabinet that authors of the time loved, containing a summary of Cicero's The Dream of Scipio, philosophical musings, and lists of figures and scenery that are present for the joy of noticing them, while having no part in the main plot. The poem is a celebration of medieval wonder and humor, and is presented here with the original text and a modern English, blah, blah, blah. So anyways, this guy was kind enough to give you a little bit of a pronunciation guide for Middle English as well. But I just want to read a few excerpts from this. But before I do, real quick, I'll just give my own little summary. So it is a dream, like this editor mentioned. The narrator actually starts the story by reading from a book, Cicero's Somnium Scipionis, looking for something unspecified. So looking for something, searching for something in there. When he falls asleep while doing this, though. And when he's asleep, Scipio Africanus the Elder actually appears to him and guides him through some upper cosmology, pretty much, and until he passes through a gate that is reminiscent of that in the Inferno, and through Venus's temple to a garden, right? Past that, right? That is with a concourse, a parliament being overseen by nature herself. That is of birds, and they're looking for mates in most part. And that is in relation to what the season is here, right? As February would be the ending of winter, at least in an early medieval sense, Candlemas, which is February 2nd. So not much more before Valentine's Day would again be the start of spring. Right around there, actually, February 7th. So February 2nd, February 7th, depending on where you and when you are. In fact, at Chaucer's time, I believe, actually, they celebrated the new year with Annunciation in March. But so anyways, this is actually the plot itself with the birds focus on three eagles. and they're vying for one female eagle. And there's bickering of other birds and whatnot. There's lots of birds, of course, too. So let's read some. The opening line is rather famous. It is, "The leaf so short, the craft so long to learn," which is, the life so short, the craft so long to learn. Pretty recognizable, even to a modern English speaker, which is very famous and very relatable to anyone who really has tried to master anything. And then we have later, when he gets into this like dreamscape, pretty much. "With that, min hand to his he took anon, of which he comfort cut, and went in fast. But the Lord so he was glad and well begone, for overall were that he mean eyen cast," so I cast mine eyes, "were trees clad with leaves that I shall last, each in his kind of colour fresh and green, as emerald that joy was to seen." And here's the author's translation, or the editor's translation. It's like, "Where I cast my eyes are trees clad with leaves that last forever, each in its own kind, of color fresh and as green as an emerald that was a joy to see." Lovely, very beautiful line, I thought. Really captured my attention, right? Just like this change of scenery captured this narrator's attention as well. Chaucer is, of course, unmatched in my opinion. So, anyways, and then I think the first mention we get of the dating of it, I don't believe until line 309. I could have miscalculated this, but it says, "For this was on Saint Valentina's die," and it's mentioned a few times after that in the poem, like here actually. "You know well how Saint Valentina's die, by my statute and through my governance, ye come for to chase and flay your way, your makis as he prick you with pleasance." Sorry. And again, so it says, "You know well on how on Saint Valentine's Day, by my law and through my governance, you come to choose and fly on your way, your mates, as I spur your delight." Right? Prick with pleasure. But and that's the idea, right? That this is romance. It's romance between birds, right? But of course, these birds are in many ways representative of people, right? There's lots of personifications going on here, and I think the birds definitely hit people more than all the literal personifications we get, like nature herself. So, especially with their little bickering they have sometimes. So, besides that, I think it's just the last like closing bits I want to share with you real quick. This is the last, so this is the before last and the stanza preceding that as well. "Now welcome summer with the sun soft," so welcome summer with your soft sun, "that has this winter's weathers of a shaka," that has shaken off winter weather, "and driven away the longe nights black," so driven away the long nights black, "Saint Valentine, that art full he on lofte, thus singen smale fools for thy sake. Now welcome summer with thy sun softe, that has this winter's weathers of a shake." "Wherehan they cause for to gladden ofte, sith each of him recovered hath his make, for blissful moe they singe when they wake. Now welcome summer with the sun softe, that has this winter's weathers of a shake, and driven away the long nights black." So this is rather repetitive, but it is a song as well, actually, if you notice, as the birds are singing pretty much, right? And it's, again, this personification, right? When we think of birds singing, often we'll think of early spring, and that is what is going on here, is these birds are welcoming in summer, and specifically he's mentioning summer rather than spring, and the departure of the black nights of winter, which, we are connected to in some ways, this idea of winters in the world still today, but less so, I would say, than medieval people were with their sets of feast days, but also with their just, not modern technology, I mean, like not a modern like time zone system, and clocks and just all that stuff, modern heating, even for that matter, and a lot of people working fields as well. So I think is a rather beautiful way to close it out. And then, um, but it ends quite literally with waking in this last stanza. And here's the last stanza. It says, "And with the shouting, when the song was do, that foolish maiden at here fleeked away, I woke, and other bocas took me to read it upon, and yet I read it our way. I hope I wish to read so some day, that I shall mette something for to fire the bet, and thus to read I nil not spare." And then in the translation, I think if you were to read it, if you had it in front of you, I think even people who don't have any experience in modern English or Middle English would find it really readily accessible and understandable. But still, I'll read this too. "And with the shouting when the song was done, and with the birds made as they flew away, I woke and took other books to read, and still I always read, and hope, or I hope in fact to read, so that some day I will dream something that will go better, and thus I will not cease to read." Still searching for something, huh? So, anyways, if you want to make your Valentine's Day a little bit more romantic, even, we can go back to this. What seemingly, again, there could be something else that goes back that connects romance with St. Valentine's Day beforehand. But what we have as early as is Chaucer, and it seems like he might be the guy who paired him. So, anyways, pick up Parlement of Fowls or Fowls or however you want, Parliament of Birds, Assembly of Birds. There's a few ways you can look it up. But I think Parliament of Fowls is probably the easiest one to look it up under. So, anyways, a link from Loom's ICM. Let me know what you think. Check it out. Read it yourself. I'm not sure if you can find it online free. I'm sure it's somewhere, at least in the Middle English, maybe not in translation. But it's definitely worth checking out. And it's only 700 lines anyway, so rather short. Thank you for watching.